Hi everyone, it's Dr. Arlene Diamco, the MultiDimensional MD. My mission is to help bring the intuitive aspects of health back to medicine in practical and tangible ways so that you can feel more peace, love, and joy in your everyday lives. You can experience deeper healing. So one of the things that people will ask me is, what do I feel during a cranial osteopathic treatment? So I thought that I would explain a little bit more about what I feel, so that you can have more understanding about it. And just to explain a little bit more about cranial osteopathy in general, what it is feeling all the different layers, all the different dimensions of the body. So it's feeling the bone, the fluid, the membrane, the energetic, even the emotional. And this is my perspective on it because all practitioners are different. So anything that I say here is my personal and my professional perspective on this. So what I'll do during a cranial osteopathic treatment is that I will feel the alignment of the bones, the tension, the fascia, the tissues, the dura that holds everything in place, how the fluids are moving, including how the arteries bring nutrients, how the veins remove toxins, lymph flow drains inflammation, and cerebrospinal fluid flow so the nerves can communicate well. And also feel how the organs are. They need to feel in tune and in rhythm with each other to feel balanced and whole. So everything needs to be in resonance to feel integrated. Also check for the autonomic nervous system, that fight or flight and rest digest part, and feel how those are integrated and in resonance with each other. So it's done fully clothed, usually like laying down on the table, but because I see all ages, then sometimes I'm chasing the toddlers around the room, or the moms are holding their babies, or the dads are holding their babies. The kids can sit in their parents' lap. And it's really amazing. So let me tell you a little bit more about what I feel during a treatment. And I didn't really make any notes on this. I just wanted to speak from my heart and tell you a bit more, because what I feel during a treatment is so beautiful. Sometimes it can be difficult to describe because it is really my essence greeting your essence. So also realizing that we are part of this oneness, this stillness. And in order for me to feel that, I have to get really quiet, really still within myself. And that doesn't mean that I am shutting out my thoughts, that I am trying not to think, although often things flow better if I'm not forcing my thoughts or trying to push things a certain way and just letting things be. So that's the key, is allowing things to be, allowing myself to be, so that I can see more fully, see, hear, feel, understand this being in front of me more fully. And what I feel are all these different beautiful rhythms in the body, because your body has so many rhythms. We know that, like from your heart rate, your heart rhythms, you can measure that with the EKG. From your breathing, you can measure that with the respiratory rate or other different kinds of breathing measurements. We know that from your brain waves, you can measure that with the EEG. So in modern medicine, we understand that the body has a lot of different rhythms, but we understand that more from a technological perspective rather than a being perspective. So when I'm feeling all these different rhythms, it is like an orchestra. So just like an orchestra, sometimes things can be out of tune or out of rhythm. This is where I'm talking about, like, the body needs to feel like more in rhythm and in resonance. But the thing is that your essence, that being that you are, your pure light being, it is always in resonance. It is always in tune and in rhythm with the oneness, with the stillness. And so if I can see that, feel that, hear that, understand that, then it helps what looks like, our reality in the physical world, to be more in tune with that. And if it's more in tune, in rhythm and resonance with that, then there's really nothing to do, and all is done. And when I'm feeling things, it's not that, because sometimes people ask me, is it all energetic? I was like, well, in a way, because everything's energy, but we are still literally feeling those physical layers too. Your bone, your tendons, your fascia, dura, your fluid, so that soft fluidness within you. And so we're still feeling all of that. But yes, sure, there is an energetic aspect to it, because all of that is energy. And also, I can also feel like your biofield, or your aura, or what I say to the kids, your rainbow around you. And sometimes that can get feelings of what to me feels like static in it. Or I can also feel the emotional body, and that's really interesting and just tells me so much more about your being and state of being. And remember, anything that I'm seeing, feeling, hearing, it's not about being judgmental. And I know in training in medicine, we're meant to compare, we're meant to make a diagnosis, so it's meant to be judgmental in a way. However, in healing is actually not judgmental. Healing is being. So allowing your being to be helps it be more in resonance with the stillness, oneness, and that feels like home. That feels like, oh gosh, it feels like yourself, completely free, unhindered, happy, joyful. It feels like how everyone would like to feel all the time. So it's really neat. I get to see that in everybody. And so when people ask me, well, isn't it draining to treat people all day? Isn't it draining to listen to everyone's stories and all of this heaviness? And for me, it's not, because I can see this essence in you. I can see this essence in me. And that is so beautiful. It's like I can see how you are made of stardust. And I never get tired of seeing that. I never get tired of hearing that. It's like however it comes into your senses. It's like this beautiful music, and I never get tired of it. So it's so amazing. I mean, being in my office and seeing patients and with these cranial osteopathic treatments, it feels like it's healing for me, because I get to sit in this beautiful light and love presence with myself, with you in the room, and then the physical is a part of that, but it's not all of it. See, if you look at the physical body, or what feels like is going wrong with it, or how it's out of balance, then it can feel like things are really difficult. It can feel like like how you feel out of balance, or you feel anxious, or you feel sad, or you feel like you're not sure how life is going, or feel stuck. But when you can also see that as well as your own essence, then it starts to feel like less of a problem. It's not that we're ignoring it or saying that any of this physical suffering or this mental emotional suffering is not there. It's that there's something even brighter that's in you, that is a part of you, that is really like all of you, and that's where your health is. That is the potency. That's your light. That is your love, and that is ever unchanging. So it helps so much in the treatments to see that, because if you can, then all you have to do is see, feel, hear, understand more of that, and then your physical body will respond and start to be more of this expression of who you really are. And I mean, it's all of us are human, so we are meant to experience things. We are meant to feel this multi-dimensional movie. It's our own reality show, and you know, each of us is a main character in our own show, and we are having this multi-sensory experience. And so sometimes we forget who we are behind all of that and where it's all coming from. And so we forget that this is actually something that we would like to experience, that we love to be human, because when you're all like, when you're just a light body, not just, but when you feel yourself as a light body without the physical manifestation expression of it, then you can't like smell this ocean air. You can't feel the grasses here, or touch the sand, or dip your toes in the water, because you're light and everything's light, and really that's everything. But in this human experience, we would like to have a multi-sensory experience, and so experience things through our regular senses. But if you're also in touch with your expanded senses, that's your intuition. Those are whispers from your soul, your spirit, your oneness, your stillness coming through to you. And that can make everything that you experience have more meaning, have just be more worthwhile. So there's so much to say in this. What else? It's amazing what you can feel in people, and from when they're babies, from when they're born, I can feel I can feel in anyone their essence. So you feel their constitution, which you could call your personality, but to me it's so much more than that, because it's also like how you might respond to medications or supplements. It's like some people are more sensitive to those things than others, and they need like less dosing, and they can't follow the protocol as much. So constitution encompasses all of that, and your personality, to me, in the way I define and use the term constitution. So I can feel that at any age, and I can feel that in a newborn, which is really beautiful, because parents will often ask me, you know, if they know that I can feel that, they'll ask me about what I feel in their baby. Sorry, there's an ant going across the computer. And it's so neat, because then I'll give them a heads up for the years going forward of, you know, this is your baby's constitution, this is your child's constitution, so you might want to say things like this to them, or, you know, they really like to make their own decisions, and so it's like how to phrase things for them. Or they might be, oh no, they're a bit quieter, and so they will tend to keep things under wraps. So trust your mommy, your daddy instincts, because there may be things that they're feeling and aren't readily apparent. So, you know, all different variations of that. And I feel like it's really empowering for the parents to understand those things, and it can help with the family dynamics and knowing who this being that you brought into the world is, even before they're starting to talk. So, and what else? So what else can I feel? Well, if we feel into any stuck point, so again, I look at any stuck point as messages from your body, from your mental emotional state, as pointing to where the healing is, pointing to what needs tending to. So if we get really quiet and listen to that, then we can hear more about the stuckness. And the stuckness could be on any dimension, any layer. So it could be on the bone, it could be on the fluid, it could be on the membrane, it could be in the mental emotional layer. So when you get a more a wider view of it. So when you include more of those dimensions, then you get a bigger picture of, if you say you're looking at the elephant, I'm going like this, saying, because it's representing all these different perspectives of looking at an elephant, and then you have more understanding of it. So it doesn't mean that things aren't on the physical layer. It doesn't mean that everything's mental, emotional. You're always this whole being, body, mind, spirit. So it's going to be the physical, the mental, emotional, the spiritual. So when you can understand all those different dimensions and how they're playing together, then you have a more understanding of what's going on. So I will listen to the stuckness and see what feels stuck on that more physical layer, but I'll also feel what feels stuck on that mental, emotional dimension. I like the word dimension better than layer, because it's not really like layers like an onion. They're kind of interwoven, penetrating. They can exist in the same space. So within the bone, say even the bone that's like more dense in your body, within that is still this potency, is still this fluid layer, and is still this emotional layer. So we can get really quiet and listen into that. And it's so remarkable what can happen with that. So if you get really quiet and listen, say this one woman had some ankle, foot pain, and we just got really quiet and listened to it, and maybe sometimes together we'll kind of come up with it, or I might say some words that prompt things to see if they resonate in terms of what I feel, and then I share that with my patient and see if that resonates with them, so we can then work together and help to process whatever is there. So say with this ankle foot pain, and then something came up, and with some sadness or some anger that's left over, and then just being able to breathe into that, and then you can feel even the physical dimensions start to loosen up, and by the end of the treatment, amazing to see how much less pain there is. I just saw somebody the other day, and just even like walking through things, like sometimes you don't even have to be in person, just because when you're participating in your own health and you're able to see these dimensions in yourself, then that is so powerful and healing in itself. So someone the other day then was just walking through some toothache, and there was a feeling of just this emotion, and just kind of feeling into it. I can talk more about that another time, like feeling into where that emotion was coming from, and it felt like it was bigger than her. So it had this like intergenerational feel, so something that's being carried across the generations, or transgenerational, ancestral kind of pattern being carried over, which might sound really strange because it's a tooth, but remember, you're a whole being, so you're going to have all these dimensions in every single part of you. And so just bringing up some things and seeing if that resonated with her, and then certain things did, and sometimes you get little goosebumps when it does resonate. It's like, oh my gosh, like how didn't see that, didn't know that was part of it, but it so rings true that you can feel it in your body. So we talked through that, breathed through that, and really remarkable because it helped the toothache a lot. I have so many examples of this for so many different kinds of discomfort, pains, aches, symptoms, and I could go on. And if you had a question about anything, and if have I seen someone like that and what it might represent, then feel free to let me know in the comments. I can't answer anything like specifically like a one-on-one consultation, but I can give you general information, and everything in this video is really more for informative purposes only, not to diagnose and treat. It's really just to help you see what I see, so that maybe you can start to see it in yourself too. And then that's the self-healing, which is so beautiful, and what I would love to teach people is just how to take care of themselves, how to see their inner beauty, how to see their inner light and that love within them, so that it can expand and express in your physical world, in your mental, emotional world, more fully, because it's really who you are. So with that, I have to get going and drive back home. I just wanted to get out here and show you this beautiful landscape here. Just a nice little change from my regular place that I record in my office or at home, and I hope that you enjoyed that, or it was helpful for you in some way. I love to talk about this, and I have no notes. This was just totally off the cuff, just talking about whatever came to me and in the moment, and would love to share more. So glad to see you here with me today. Really appreciate you showing up with me, and I love that you love to have these kinds of deep reflections and just talk about these things that maybe not everyone talks about in their everyday lives, but is so deep and meaningful and really makes life have a lot more depth to it and helps you access more healing. So lots of love to all of you. I believe in you, so I hope that you believe in you too. And if you'd like to connect with me further, you can on Instagram at All Worlds Health, on Facebook at All Worlds Health and Pediatrics. You can sign up for my e-love letters. I send them out once a week on Wednesdays. So you can do that at allworldshealth.com, allworldshealth.com. And I'll see you next Wednesday, sometime middle of the day. And have a great rest of your week. Bye.